Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering how Game Week 12 has gone so far, including all 9 Premier League fixtures so far. Of course, it is Everton Manchester United on Monday night, but we are covering the European teams in today's video. Now, thank you very much for the support on the previous episode. It's been an incredible response, and every single comment, every single interaction on the video does help me out massively. Of course, we are on the road to 1,500 subscribers. If you could go down below, smash the subscribe button, it's completely free, be greatly appreciated. Also, while you're down there, 100 likes is always a target on every Sun Dream Team video. Now, without further ado, let's crack on with the content. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, thank you very, very much for the support on the previous episode on the channel, smashing it through the interactions and everything. So that is really, really fantastic to see that not only is the content being well received, but it's also being informative as well. As always with the Sun Dream Team videos, the code to my Sun Dream Team League is down below. I think we're closing in on 500 over there, so do join. It's completely free. And if you are in the top 10 for the overall, all top 10 point scorers in that game week, small change there, you will appear in an episode further down the line, normally in between the Premier League fixtures and the European fixtures, so normally Monday or Tuesday following them. Now, first up, the very first game for this week, Burnley against Chelsea. Not too much to note on the Burnley side of things. Chelsea are where we are looking at. Now, they kept another clean sheet. It's just a shame with Chelsea there's so much rotation, not only at the back, but also in midfield and attack. Robert Sanchez with an 8-pointer was in the differentials video last week. Chelsea keeping clean sheets, but there's also that looming Jorgensen potential benching for Sanchez on the horizon. Tosin played centre-half with Chalobah in this one. We didn't expect that to be the case with Fofana, but it looks like he's picked up yet another knock. So Tosin got a 10-pointer, Cucurella with an 8, Chalobah 9-pointer, bonus point as well for him. He ticks along very nicely, and he is probably, along with Cucurella, the most reliable for minutes in that back line. Reece James substituted at half-time in this one, so no clean sheet for him for those of you who do own him. Enzo Fernandez finally got his return for those of you who do own him as an asset. He's been dodging points left, right and centre, but with an 88th minute goal in this one, a well-taken finish from a Mark Guéhi cutback, picked up his 9-pointer. Gittins, 7 points, got the assist as well, but with Garnacho on one side and him just fighting out for minutes, and then you've got Pedro Neto on the other side and Esteval. There never seems to be too much. Just the availability for minutes for Chelsea players is really tricky to hold down. Andre Santos, I believe his name is, he played holding midfield in this one. Caicedo was a complete no-show, surprisingly. Yes, they do have some slightly trickier fixtures coming up, so maybe he was carrying a small knock. João Pedro, just a 1-pointer, very disappointing for those of you who do have him. Of course, he did, I think it was a 10-pointer in the previous game week at home. Got his goal in that one, but this one picked himself up a booking and just a 1-pointer. Pedro Neto, great finish for the header at the back post, just missing out on a bonus point. 9 points overall for him. And Liam Delap with the 2 points up front as well. Quite frankly, in this game, he looked awful. He was in the differentials video, but I'd be staying well clear. I know he's had a very tricky start to the season with injuries and not quite getting up to pace, but his first touch was just awful consistently. And as I mentioned, Mark Guéhi came off the bench, actually looked better than Delap. A lot of robust nature to Guéhi's play. Even the assist that he got, he bullied the defender out of the way, played it across the box, and Enzo was there to tap it in. So Chelsea, 2-0 victors in this one. Arsenal away next week in the Premier League, so trickier ties, of course, but defensively, they are looking quite sound. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 3 in what would have been a coupon buster for quite a lot of people. There wouldn't have been many that would have gone for Nottingham Forest winning this one, and I, for one, certainly wasn't. Gibbs White, Savona and Murillo picking up the goals in this one in the biggest defeat, I think, since 2022 or 2023 for Liverpool at Anfield, which was a 4-1 defeat to Manchester City. But you could see Man City beating a Liverpool team. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, they've struggled for form this season. They've struggled to create chances. Many of us would have thought they'd have gone to Anfield under a Sean Dyche regime, sat back, defended well, and hoped for a point. Wasn't the case. They picked their moments, they took their goals well, and Liverpool, bar the first 20 to 30 minutes in this one, looked well off it. For Forest, 8 points for Sells, 17-pointer for Nico Williams in this one. got the assist, got the clean sheet, 11 tackles. 11. Yes, 11. Ridiculous. It gave me Tim Irabunan vibes from last season, for those of you who did play. He was a tackle monster at the start of the campaign. Savona with a 14-pointer, got himself the goal, got himself the clean sheet. Slightly cheaper than Williams. Of course, he does play it right back, so without Oliana, without Zinchenko, it does look like that is slightly nailed as well going forward. Murillo, 18-pointer, a bonus point, a goal, a clean sheet. Just a very good return for him. Milenkovic, just the 8-pointer for him across that back line, which doesn't look a lot compared to the 18, 14 and 17 of his defensive partners. But you will gladly take an 8-pointer away at Anfield. Dominguez with a 2-pointer, and Doy with just a 2-pointer as well. Sangare at the base of that midfield with a 4-pointer. Elliot Anderson, maybe back on the cards, getting an assist in this one. 1.1 ppm, I should say, shy of 3 bonus points as well. He was that combative monster in midfield for the majority of the season. Tailed off slightly when Sean Dyche came in, but hopefully he gets back up to speed as well. Gibbs White, if he would have scored that penalty in the Europa League a couple of weeks ago, I think he would very much be at the forefront of our thoughts. Picking up points a lot, but he is heavily reliant on just scoring. So if he doesn't score, he's tending to blank. Igor Jesus with a 4-pointer as well. Had a goal disallowed, rightfully or wrongfully. It's up in the air for that one. Onto the Liverpool side of things. Now, I really wanted a Liverpool asset in this week. Unfortunately, due to Paqueta playing at the same time as them, that wasn't the case, so I couldn't substitute one in. Thankfully, that was the case. Alisson Becker made his return in goal, so Mamardashvili owners, I think it's time to sell. 2 points for Alisson Becker. Konate with a 0-pointer taken off before the 60th minute, dropping Gravenberch into that centre-back role. Kirkes with a 2-pointer. Van Dijk with back-to-back 0-pointers, I believe that is. I think he's going to be approaching a 4 million price tag, depending what happens in the Champions League in the week, of course. But I think for 4 million over a congested Christmas period, yes, Liverpool have been poor, but he might be one to potentially keep an eye on. Szoboszlai, 6 points in this, just missed out on max bonus points. He seems to be the shining light in the Liverpool team in some very dark times recently. Curtis Jones with a 5-pointer. McAllister, 5 points for him. Gravenberch, reliable, normally. Not so much in this one, just a 2-pointer, picking himself up a yellow card. Alexander Isak, I don't even know how he managed to get 2 points in this one. He was absolutely dreadful. Didn't get involved in the play at all and looks a shadow of his Newcastle self. Gakpo with a 3-pointer starting in this one due to Florian Wirtz being injured. I did think that would be the case rather than some sort of weird 4-4-2. And Mo Salah got himself a bonus point, got himself a shot on target, picked up some appearance points, and if you look at the scores across that Liverpool team, I will gladly take 4 points from Salah. Yes, you want him to do a whole lot more, and for those of you who did go there captaincy-wise, I think you would be disappointed. But I'll take the 4 points. Nothing to note of people off the bench. Amari Hutchinson on the Forest side of things getting an assist, but of course he is not in their European team. He wasn't selected, so he is a no-go as an option for me. So Forest, very surprising 3-0 win. Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2, in a result that probably many of us would have seen coming. Not much to speak about on the Wolves side of things. I think they've only picked up 2 points this entire season so far, one being away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, surprisingly. 5 points for Andre, but that's about it. As for Crystal Palace, they continue to be reliable for minutes. Henderson in goal picking up a 7-pointer. Many weeks back, I had the decision between Henderson and Donnarumma. Donnarumma came out the blocks, firing with the points. Henderson was slow, but he's slowly starting to catch him back up. Lacroix, 13-pointer in this one. A very fortunate assist, the ball hitting him and falling to a certain other Crystal Palace defender that we'll get to in a minute. He picked himself up a bonus point as well. I think he did lose a tackle overnight from Saturday to Sunday, so it dropped him from 14 points to 13. But a very good return. Chris Richards, we thought he came off with a hamstring injury, but the manager did come out and say it was cramped, so maybe not a sell if you've got him, but keep and wait for those press conferences and to see if he plays in the Conference League. I doubt he will if he's picked up any kind of knock. Camvo will, of course, deputise for him. Mark Greey, 6 points, close to a bonus point. Got himself a booking as well, so that booking did cost him 2 points overall. He was a player I heavily thought about bringing in this week. Kamada, 5-pointer for him. back on the tackle front. I had him for many weeks of this season, and he's very good for tackles. Unfortunately, attacking wise, leaves a little bit to be desired. Adam Wharton with the assist, 7 points overall, getting the bonus point. A very solid return from him. Daniel Munoz, of course, picking up the goal in this one. He benefited from that lucky Lacroix assist. Good finish in the end into the open net after Sam Johnson had already dived for the ball. 13 points. Got himself a tackle point as well. Sorry, didn't get himself a tackle point. Very nearly, and that's what we associate with Munoz. Those tackles, those returns, and he is just an incredible asset to own. Tyrick Mitchell, 8-pointer once again. The Crystal Palace defence looks like it's set in stone for the season. With you got Borna Sosa, you got Canvo coming in, but Henderson, Munoz, Lacroix, Gueye, they will all play when they're fit, it looks like. Yeremy Pino picked himself up his first goal in the Premier League for Crystal Palace. Fantastic finish into the far corner. Great finesse, great whip on it. And he got himself a bonus point as well. However, the two attackers for Crystal Palace were very disappointing this week. Ismail Assar, just a 3-pointer for him. And Mateta missing yet another golden chance for Palace. You can either sit one side of the fence or the other with Mateta. You either sit on the side of the fence that he's missing chances left, right and centre, or you'll sit on the side of the fence that he is one of the only attackers that are getting this level of really good chances to be putting away. Yes, I'd like him to put even more of them away than he is doing, but we know he has this ability to score goals. Of course, he's on penalties, but he has to start firing, and being brought off after just the 60th minute in this one for Eddie Nketiah is certainly something to keep a close eye on. But Palace, 2-0 victors in this one. In the Saturday evening fixture, it was Newcastle United against Manchester City, and Newcastle's home form did indeed come to the forefront in this one. Harvey Barnes, 2 goals for him. 63rd minute, 70th minute returns. A second goal which was heavily debated by VAR. Was he offside? Was he not onside? Very difficult to see, but the line showed he was onside. And Ruben Dias getting the goal for Manchester City. So we'll start with them first. No clean sheet, but always going away to St James's Park is a difficult task. Donnarumma, just a 1-pointer, got himself a booking. I'm tempted to say he's picked up 3 bookings so far this season in the Premier League for Manchester City, which is quite a lot. Nico O'Reilly, 4-pointer for him, got himself a bonus point. 2 for Gavardio, massively overpriced this season. Doesn't offer many attacking returns with him playing now at left centre-back rather than left-back like he was last season. Partnered with Ruben Dias, who got himself 9 points, a bonus point and a goal, but no clean sheet. So a good return for those of you who do own him. Matheus Nunes just missing out on 3 bonus points, 2 points overall for him. Jeremy Doku once again showing he is a fantastic asset to own. 7 points, 3 bonus points, even picked himself up a tackle point as well. Phil Foden, very disappointing for myself personally, but we'll get to my team towards the back end of this video. 2-pointer, a blank for him away to Newcastle. The hope, and it's fingers crossed, that he plays against Leverkusen in the week. The Champions League does seem to be where a lot of points are to be had, but 2-pointer, I can't lie, is very disappointing. Nico Gonzalez with a 3-pointer. Turkey got the assist, a very fortunate assist that was, for the Diaz goal. 7 points for him. And Erling Haaland blanked. Just a 4-pointer, a couple of shots on target. He had a chance in the first half he probably should have put away. But a 4-pointer with the Champions League game in the week, it's okay. Onto the Newcastle side of things, Nick Pope in goal ahead of Aaron Ramsdale against the Newcastle fans' wishes once again. 3 points for Pope. 4 points for Livramento. Newcastle did get their first choice fullback pairing out for this one, with Lewis Hall on one side, Livramento on the other, and Shaw and Malik Chow partnering each other at centre half, picking up 3 and 2 points respectively. Into the midfield, Joelinton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, the tried and trusted trio. Guimaraes picking up 2 assists in this one. Really solid return. Voltemada, 5-pointer. For those of you who did keep him ahead of these fixtures, you can consider yourself very, very unlucky. He should have got at least 1 goal in this game. He had countless chances, missed a few one-on-ones, and I did think it was going to be one of those days for Newcastle until Harvey Barnes showed up. Took his first goal exceptionally well, slotting it into the bottom corner. Was on his toes, on his feet for that second one. First to the rebound off the crossbar and tucked it away very nicely, basically chipping the players on the line as they stood there ready to block it. 17-pointer. I toyed with the idea of bringing him in, not as a transfer, but as a substitutionship, especially seeing that, what's his name? Anthony Gordon, slipped my mind there for a minute. Anthony Gordon wasn't in the squad at all. Opted against it, and he took his goals really well. 17-pointer for him. Would I be bringing him in? Probably not, but depends on what he's going to do in the Champions League in the week. I think he will be rising 0.3, so he does give us another attacking option in the midfield. Leeds United 1, Aston Villa 2. Disappointing result for Leeds, this one. They took the lead very early on with a Nemecha goal after 8 minutes. VAR took their age for it. Emi Martinez once again showing why the tag of one of the best goalkeepers in the world should not be labelled with him at all. He's absolutely woeful. So nothing too much to note on the Leeds side of things. As for Aston Villa, a few standout performers. Emi Martinez not being one of them. 3-pointer for him. Matty Cash, 4-pointer. I think he did get booked in this game. At least I know that he got given a foul against him in the very last few minutes of it, which knocked him down from that 1 bonus point threshold. Conser, nothing to note from him. 3-pointer and a bonus point. Digne taken off at half time along with Emi Buendia. Pau Torres with a 4-pointer, a bonus point for him. Into the midfield, McGinn with a 1-pointer. Kamara missing out on 3 bonus points just narrowly. Youri Tielemans with a 3-pointer, slowly coming back from that injury that he had at the start of the campaign. Ollie Watkins looked well off it. I think at one stage during, it was either the first or second half, there was a through ball played to him. And in a few seasons prior, it had got ahead, but Rodon got round, covered in for pace, and got the ball out for a corner. He just looked a yard or two off it at the minute. And is that confidence-wise, or perhaps him ticking towards 30? I'm not too sure. But the standout performer in this Aston Villa side by a country mile was Morgan Rogers. Took his goal really well for the first one. Second one, got his free kick on target. I won't exactly say it was a worldie, because Perry in the Leeds goal just basically fell over and let the ball in. If you've seen the videos around on social media of the Leeds fans in the stand, there is a certain discontent to his lack of effort to actually save the ball. But Morgan Rogers, when we get to my team in a bit, this one really, really hurts. When he was stepping up for that free kick, I said to myself, there's a lot of space on that side of the goal. I know he's going to score, and lo and behold, he slotted it in, and 17-pointer. It's a throwback to last season when Morgan Rogers was really, really good for the price. I think it was either 3 or 3.5 million in the 24-25 season on Sun Dream Team. Started this year at 5.5 million, which is way too much. But for those of you who did go there, 17-pointer, he was the star of the show. And the final game of the weekend so far, Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. I will try and do this segment with not a lot of smile on my face, but it will be very, very difficult. Trossard picking up the goal after a 36-minute period where Arsenal dominated the ball. Eze got his hat-trick in this one, of course, let it all work out in that one. Richarlison scored one of the goal of the season contenders to break the Arsenal back line from 30-40 yards out. Very similar to what they did in pre-season against Arsenal. Can't remember who scored. It might have been Bentancur who scored that goal. But it seems Raya does get chipped from quite some distance a few times. Mateta last season springs to mind as well. I think when the turnover happens some way in Arsenal's half, Raya's positioning is too far out of his goal. But we'll start off with Tottenham and the game in general. For the first half, Tottenham were really, really poor. They came with a back five, 2 older midfielders with Bentancur and Paulinho in midfield, and they offered absolutely nothing. Arsenal dominated the ball. They had chance after chance. Rice missed a chance that he would normally score 9 or 8 times out of 10 after 3 or 4 minutes, and this game could have been even worse. Into the second half, for the first 15-20 minutes or so, Tottenham gave it a real go. Danso was taken off at half time for Xavi Simons. They got back into the game, but once the goal was scored and it was brought back to 3-1, they never really looked like getting in it. So we'll start with Tottenham. Vicario in goal got his 1-pointer, a couple of save points for him. Danso, 0 points taken off at half time. Van der Ven, -1 point. One of the most heavily owned, if not the most owned defender currently on the game. Big blow for those of you who do own him. Didn't look like getting any attacking returns, and when he played left centre half in the back five, he really struggled to get hold of the game. Romero with a -1, despite picking up a bonus point in this one. That yellow card ticking him into the negative score. Paulinho got the assist, 9-pointer for him. It was the Paulinho and Van der Ven show a couple of weeks ago, so if you do still have Paulinho, his assist was from a tackle. And of course, in this one, he did make 8 tackles, which is very much his forte when it comes to point scoring. 9-pointer for him. Udogie, left wing back, just a 1-pointer. Bentancur with a 1-pointer, getting a yellow card. Jed Spence, really poor at right wing back. I don't know why they didn't play Pedro Porro at right wing back. Maybe it was to deal with Trossard tucking into the gaps in those kind of number 10 inverted roles, but it really didn't work. Odobert, 2-pointer. Kudus with a 3-pointer. And Richarlison, despite only being, I think it was 2.5 million in that differential video a few weeks back, got his goal. And Colin Mawani, when he came on with a jaw protector on, and he didn't look comfortable at all. So for Tottenham, a very poor day at the office. As for Arsenal, a very, very good one, of course. After the Manchester City result and the Liverpool result that had gone prior, both teams losing, it was the chance to create a 7-point gap on Manchester City and an 11-point gap on Liverpool. 6 points ahead of Chelsea now, of course, going to Stamford Bridge next week. Just a really solid return. Rye with a 2-pointer. Timber, 5-pointer for those of you who do still own him. It was Timber, it was Calafiori, it was Gabriel. They was the majority of the defensive assets from Arsenal that were owned. Saliba just with a 2-pointer, Calafiori with a 4-pointer. Hincapié came into the Arsenal back line with the Gabriel injury. Arteta keeps saying Gabriel's only injured for a few weeks. Whether we believe him or not is still yet to be seen. But Hincapié, it was 3.5 million. He came off with what looked like cramp for Mosquera. So I'm not too sure if he will play in the week against Bayern Munich. Trossard, 1 goal, 1 assist. Really good return, and he is slowly... I don't like him as a player. I don't know why, I don't know what it is. He scores goals, he gets assists, but I think he's efficient as a footballer, and with players slowly coming back, Madueke came on for him in the 78th minute, and Martinelli was also on the bench as an unused sub. This is why Gyökeres and Odegaard are still yet to be back as well. I think you'll see Trossard's minutes dip, but for those of you who do have him, he's picking up goals left, right and centre. Zubamendi was at fault for the Richarlison goal, picked up 3 points. Declan Rice, one of the other 3 options that I was thinking of for my substitution chip, we'll get to in the next slide. I was 0.1 short of him. I had 5.2 in the bank. I thought he'd play both this game and the Bayern Munich game, which is why he was there. But as I said, 5.2 million, and he was 5.3 million, unfortunately. Got the assist, picked himself up a booking as well. 8 points for him. Bukayo Saka, 6-pointer, just missing out on 3 bonus points. Miguel Moreno, the makeshift centre forward, the holding midfielder who can seemingly play any position with ease. 8-pointer for him. A really good assist for the Trossard goal. Slotted into the gap, played that false 9 role, got the ball over the back 5 for the Tottenham defence, and it went in after a deflection from Van der Ven. But undoubtedly the star of the show, Eberici Eze, was never on my radar for my substitution chip, so I can't sit here and go, oh, I've lost out on 27 points. But to see him score a hat-trick, the first player to score a hat-trick in a North London derby since 1978, I believe. He ran the show. 4 shots on target. He actually got bumped up from 28 points to 29 points overnight with an extra tackle point as well. But more importantly, got 3 bonus points. For those of you who did play Sun Dream Team last season, he was a bonus point magnet at Crystal Palace. If he never scored or assisted, he'd always get you between 4 and 8 points anyway. So to see that for the first time really in an Arsenal shirt was nice. Of course, as many of you know, he was so influential for me, finishing 3rd last year on this game, and to see him sign for Arsenal was one thing, but to see him score a hat-trick in the North London derby as well, brilliant. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1, really good result for the Gunners. Covering my team so far in game week 12, it's been a good week, but a mixed bag overall. I think I'm on 78 points, up to 182nd in the world. Saturday was an incredible day. I think I was either 90th or 110th, somewhere in that bracket. Sunday, on the other hand, really didn't go too well. Henderson with the 7-pointer, the triple Palace defence coming up for points this week. Lacroix with the assist and the clean sheet. Munoz with the goal and the clean sheet. Nico Williams, 17-pointer away to Liverpool at Anfield. Definitely didn't expect that one, and it was a really nice surprise. Konsa on the Sunday, just a 3-pointer, of course. Ismail Assar and Mateta, the poorest performers on the Palace side of things. My transfers this week was Lacroix. He came in, and so did Mateta for Malik Chow and Gabriel. So I went from a 5 at the back to a 4 at the back. Phil Foden, very, very disappointing. He was my substitute this week for Paquetá, who was banned. I had Declan Rice in mind. I had Morgan Rogers in mind, and I had Leandro Trossard in mind as well. I watched the Man City game, and beforehand, I'm thinking to myself, you've had the high of the triple Palace clean sheet. You've had the high of the Nico Williams 17-pointer. Just calm down and think about things. I went too far in. I didn't think about it, and my plan was always to leave it for the Sunday fixtures. Just disappointing. He was on 3 points. He got the big chance created taken off him. As I said, I would love to sit here and say Eberechi Eze was definitely going to be my substitution chip in. That wasn't the case. But to see Rodgers score that free kick was a bit of a dagger blow. Lost 15 points on Rodgers, lost I think 6 on Rice. So hopefully he scores a few goals. But knowing my luck with this substitution chip, he won't even play in the week. I brought in Doku as one of my other substitution chips. He got 5 points against Arsenal away. Didn't play the Swansea away fixture, I think it was, in the Carabao Cup. So I've been really disappointed with how my substitution chips have gone so far this season, considering you can actually see the lineups. Bukayo Saka with a 6-pointer. He will play against Bayern Munich in the week. And front line, as I touched on, Mateta just with the 2-pointer, missed a big chance. Haaland was the captain this week, so I'd have either gone Haaland, Salah or Saka. I think Salah ended up with my vice captaincy. 4-pointer for him, and Salah getting the 4-pointer as well. So hopefully things can continue to go well. 182nd in the world. Can't ask for too much more than that without using the goal boost to the 12th man or the max captain. Very happy. Hopefully I can stay in and around that rank at the end of game week 12. After the feedback from the comments in the previous video, this is a new segment on the recap video. This is the highest point scorers of the game week. We will get to the top 10, of course, in the next slide. But for those of you who did comment this is for you. Now, the highest point scorer this week so far, 119 points. The both for tiers, I believe that is. D. Thomas, 119 points. Murder on Zidane floor, 106 points for him. Pjanic at the disco, nice little throwback from one of the old FIFA games with him in midfield as the Juventus player. Sidetracked slightly there. 102 points for him so far. Bratsworth FC, C. Hyatt, remembered there just at the last second. I believe they are the number 1 in the overall ranking. 102 points. Joey's Tigers, 101 points. Rice Baby, a very popular team name, 97 points. Athletic Crapo, 96 points. Dino's Ballers, 95 points. Owen Hayward, 95 points as well so far this week. And Heartbreakers with 94 points. I think those of those English is difficult. For those at the top of the leaderboard, I think a lot of those points were heavily scored by Eze. I certainly know top position was. On to the top 10 overall for my Sun Dream Team League. It is tight at the top, but there is a little gap this week. In first position, Bratsworth FC, as we spoke about just a minute ago. C. Hyatt, 102 points this game week, catapulted them up this leaderboard. 1,377 points overall, so a 37-point gap between first and second. Second position, bring back Ange, 47 points this week, 1,340 overall, Jay Milligan. Third position, Rock and Roll Sar, J Dean, 65 points, 1,332. Forever 20 in fourth position, N Perry, 89 points, so a really good week so far for them, 1,324 points for the season. AFC Lambretta in fifth. I Lambert, I believe that is. Eyesight not doing me too well on that one. 75 points, for my apologies. 1,323 points. Burton FC, M Burton in sixth position with 74 points for the week. 1,317 overall for the season. Plain Lazy, G Bristow, myself, I've made it back into the top 10 in seventh position. 78 points for me this week, 1,316 overall for the season. Wakey's Flops, P. Wakelin, 63 points, 1,314 overall. Frimp My Ride, J. Ingham, 79 points. And Zhong MPH, I believe that is, J. Gill, 56 points so far in game week 12 for them. 1,312 the same as 9th position. So it is tight at the top, only 28 points separating second and 10th, but a massive 37 points separating first and second. That does indeed conclude today's video, the Game Week 12 so far recap video covering the Premier League games, who's top of whose leaderboards, and who is the highest scoring team so far this week. If you've enjoyed the content, please do smash the thumbs up button. 100 is the target for all Dream Team videos on the channel. As I mentioned at the start, the support on the previous episode was incredible, so thank you very much for that. My socials are down below in the description. We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, and I'm nearly close to 500 followers on X, so if you could go follow me over there, it would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment down below on how your week has gone so far, and what players or potential injuries you've had that might influence your transfers going into Game Week 13. I already know so far. I'm trying to plan out, but unfortunately nothing's springing to mind for my own team at the minute. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and you'll be seeing me in a new one very soon.